Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, RVMD Revolution Medicines Incorporated just filed an 8K report detailing a significant leadership transition and the results of their annual stockholder meeting, and I am seeing a very specific outcome from their shareholder votes that tells an interesting story. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. The big takeaway is that while a key executive is stepping down from day-to-day operations, the stockholders overwhelmingly supported the company's direction and its accounting partners in the latest votes. So what is this filing all about? Basically, Revolution Medicines Incorporated is telling us about two main things. First, there is a change happening with one of their top leaders. And second, they're reporting the results of their annual meeting where shareholders vote on important company matters. Let's start with the leadership update. Steve Kelsey, who has been the president of research and development, has announced his intention to retire. But here is the interesting part. He is not just leaving. He'll be transitioning into a new role as a senior advisor to the chief executive officer starting July 1st. Then, after he fully retires in January of next year, the company is thinking about having him join their board of directors. This kind of transition is pretty common. It allows a company to keep the valuable experience of a long-term executive while also bringing in fresh perspectives. It also smooths the path for whatever comes next in their research and development pipeline, which for a company like Revolution Medicines is probably their most critical function. Now let's dive into what the shareholders actually voted on at their annual meeting. They had three main proposals. The first proposal was to elect directors. Two Class III directors, Alexis Borisy and Marka Goldsmith, were up for election. The results show a pretty strong endorsement. For Alexis Borisy, there were over 127 million votes in favour, and about 33 million withheld votes. For Marka Goldsmith, the numbers were even more impressive, with over 157 million votes for and just about 3 million withheld. The number of broker non-votes, which are shares where the broker hasn't received voting instructions, was around 20 million for both. This clearly indicates shareholder confidence in the current leadership and their strategic direction, especially given that Dr. Goldsmith is also the CEO. Next up was a really important vote ratifying PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP or PwC as their independent auditor for the year. This is basically shareholders saying, yes, we trust this accounting firm to check our company's books. And the vote here was overwhelmingly in favour, with over 181 million votes for, and only about 206,000 against, plus a small number of abstentions. This is super important because it signals that the shareholders are comfortable with the financial reporting and oversight at Revolution Medicines. When a company faces increased scrutiny or is in a growth phase, having a trusted auditor like PwC is a big plus. It's hard to find a reason for concern when you see such a clear consensus on this critical item, especially with no broken non-votes to muddy the waters. The final proposal was an advisory vote on executive compensation. This is often called a say on pay vote. Shareholders are essentially giving their opinion on how the company is paying its top executives. Again, the results were strongly positive. There were over 155 million votes in favour, against about 5.5 million votes against, and a small number of abstentions and broken non-votes. This means shareholders are generally happy with how the company is compensating its leadership team. For a company like Revolution Medicines, which is in the biotech space and likely focused on long-term growth and innovation, aligning executive pay with performance and shareholder value is crucial. This vote result suggests they are doing a decent job of that. Looking at the overall picture here, it's clear that Revolution Medicines Incorporated is navigating some leadership changes while enjoying strong support from its shareholders. The planned retirement of Dr. Kelsey is being handled in a way that should retain his expertise, and the overwhelmingly positive votes on director elections, auditor ratification, and executive compensation suggest that investors have confidence in the company's current trajectory, while the forward-looking statements do highlight that Dr. Kelsey's appointment to the board is still subject to board approval. The overall sentiment from this filing is one of stability and shareholder trust, which is exactly what you want to see in a company operating in a complex and rapidly evolving sector like biotechnology. What I am really watching moving forward is how the company leverages that retained expertise from Dr. Kelsey in his advisory role and potentially on the board. While continuing to advance its research and development pipeline, the strong shareholder votes are a good sign, but the real test will be in the continued execution of their scientific and business strategies. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded, like, comment, subscribe, and join our Discord.